Hello, and welcome to a discussion with me, Mr. Anderson, the voice of indie advocates. Today, I'm going to be the voice of, I guess, uh, forward-thinking fetish, the fetish movement by a comic book, whatever you want to call it. I've had a couple people say a couple different things about it, and been nice. Some people have said not nice things. But we are here on our last day. I've called it the day of last licks. For baseball fans, you understand that's just the last time you get to go up to the plate and try to score more runs or win the game, depending on what side of the scoreboard you're on. Now, you don't get more points if you're the home team because you don't actually have to get up in ninth inning. It's kind of interesting in the sport. But for you guys who aren't familiar with fetish babies and all that, we're going to go into a little bit deeper and actually explain why we did the days we did. So this is the show right now, and we're being transported to something you don't need to see. There we go. And here's my art for it. I thought it was cute. Barbara looking good in front of the four-leaf clover and the V-Day heart, or a heart. I don't know if it's a V-Day heart. All right, so for those who don't know what fetish babies is, let's go back. Let's go back. I haven't done this in a while. Let's go back all the way to the first video for fetish babies. I don't think I've actually watched that video in a while. So let's do that, you know? And then I'll explain the rest. But let's take a trip. Let's take a trip and watch all the videos. Oh, does it not play the video anymore? Oh, here we go. There it is. I didn't realize it moved it. Go.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Anderson, and I am the co-creator of Fetish Babies, and I'm here to take a minute to explain what Fetish Babies is. We live in a time where misinformation has replaced information, and despite being a time where we are supposed to be accepting of each other, we still judge each other without getting to know one another. So we created a comic to start replacing misinformation with information, to show that people who like tying someone up or like to be tied up aren't just damaged billionaires. Fetish Babies is the story of Barbara, a young, attractive woman who is desperate to jumpstart her fetish lifestyle. Barbara learns quickly that in life, we are a sum of our choices, and that's what this story is about, our choices and their consequences. It also gives insight into the mind of someone who is fetish inclined and shows how human these feelings are, and relatable despite the context. Whether you're curious about bondage or BDSM, or someone who just doesn't get what is so great about whips and chains, or even maybe a teacher of BDSM classes, this is the story for you. It is a well-written story that uses a relatable character that makes you want to follow along with this young woman's journey, all while treating your eyes to some truly amazing art that is by itself worth the price of admission for this journey. The goal of writing this wasn't to preach or tell people how to live, but instead show how human people are with fetishes and examine the complexities that are what we call fetishes and the lifestyles it inspires. And unlike some other stories about BDSM, we the creators didn't Google BDSM and blend the search results together with a Lifetime movie plot. Instead, we use experience and first-hand knowledge to create stories that feel real, almost non-fiction in nature, because they are based on real events. A mix of stories from over 3 decades that help you, the reader, see the dangers and excitements of the BDSM subculture. And if we did our creating right, the fetish bug just might bite a few of you who read this. This is the year that bondage, BDSM, and fetish stop being bad words. This is the year of Fetish Babies.
And it was. And you guys can see, I mean, we successfully funded this. We had 100 backers. A couple fell off because of funding issues, and it kind of sucked. It was the only Kickstarter I ever ran that actually hit 100, and it fell back because one person backed out on us. I won't go into it. They just backed out on us for their own reasons. They never even told me, so I'm not going to go into it. That's why. And then 4 people, unfortunately, missed the funding deadline, which, for those who don't know, if you don't fund, you wind up missing out. So we actually had raised a little bit more money than that, but it was amazing that we got this. So then from here, we went to Aftermath, and let's call that one up. And now we have been a comic book series that I think is the only one on Kickstarter that's had more than one issue funded. And we raised on this
What happened?
$14.87.
Sometimes surviving feels worse. I knew I was never in danger of dying, but I was in danger of having to live through those memories over and over again for years to come. A moment in time that I feared had stolen away my beloved fetishes.
What happened? Who is Bruce?
What's next?
What happened?
For months, people asked us after the release of Fetish Babies, what's next? Fetish Babies Aftermath is what's next. Come join us as the story goes into the after effects of a night gone wrong. Can Barbara regain the fetishes she feels are stolen from her? Is there a way for Barbara to live the lifestyle she's always dreamed of? Is this the end of Barbara and fetish altogether? Join us as we explore the answers in Fetish Babies Aftermath.
So now that was Aftermath. That was kind of powerful. We were talking about abuse a lot. The honest truth is that Aftermath and Mentor Search were supposed to be a double-sided issue of the same thing. It was going to be big. And Irma and 2 earthquakes interfered with all that. And I think looking back now from where we are now, it made both books better because we had to expand both books. And I feel like it was just an up and down. I won't get into it. One day, when we're doing the anthology, I'll tell you all the stuff that we went through to get here. But needless to say, there were a lot of hurdles. But I think in the end, I think we did better with the hurdles. I think we survived them. And here we are now. And remember, art has changed to reflect the story. So I think that's kind of important, too, as you guys are watching this, to remember that.
Hey, guys. I'm here at a Comic-Con. I'm on the road. We're talking about Fetish Babies issue 3 already, Mentor Search, coming to Kickstarter right now. Being on the road, I've met a lot of amazing people. And it's because of you guys who have backed this project that we're here today. We've already had Fetish Babies become a big hit. We're about to hit the road with Aftermath, the Mentor Search. This is, of course, a young woman's journey through the New York City fetish underground. And it is up to you to help us get that 3rd issue out and help us remain on the road at the Comic-Con so I can meet people and I can bring the book to change perspectives of what people think about people who have a fetish. Because thanks to certain movies that are coming out right now, we're looked at in a very bad light right now, and I want to change that. It's all about creating a narrative that explains the humanity in fetish. So join me and let's make a change in the world of fetish and learn about something some of you might not know. And for those who are into it like I am, it'll be something that you really appreciate because we put a lot of energy into it. Thank you for joining us.
Now, I think it's very important to remember, and I really do stress this, that the whole time that we've done this, and someone tried to call me out on it the other day, and I don't think they understood what I meant. So I'm going to clarify it live on this video right now. We don't use sex to sell our books. And I say it all the time. That's not to say that there isn't sexuality with our books. I had someone give me a lecture about how a woman dresses and how we're using it, and this isn't how women should be represented. But as someone who goes to a fetish scene, who's someone who's had people I play with, submissive and slaves, or just people who are curious and wanted to try it, girls and guys like to dress up. It's part of it. People like to feel sexy. People like to feel good. There are guys who wear suits. There are girls who wear these outfits. There's nothing about what we show in the book that I would not honestly say to you is absolutely 100% accurate in regards to showing the fetish scene. And that's important. I think that's a very important distinction, that what we're doing fits. Every single piece of art fits in for a reason. Even these pieces of art, they're on purpose because these are things that Barbara imagines herself to be wearing. This is something the character wants to wear. She wants to look good. This is things that some women, not all women, do like to dress up. Some don't. But we have to respect that. When women do want to dress up and look sexy, we can't throw, as the kids say, shade on them for wanting to dress a way that they want to. Of course, you have to be appropriate in the places that you are. I can understand that. I don't necessarily know that either one of these outfits would be perfect to go to the store. You have to worry about little kids. And for those who don't know, I have a tattoo on my body that does display bondage and nudity. Because I have a tattoo like that, I do have to be mindful where it is, and I do struggle with that. So we do have to worry about that, and I do think that's important. But beyond that, we haven't used sexuality. It's been about humanity, and I've always been serious about that. The story is not about sex. It's about humanity. It's about this character taking us through what BDSM is. In the end, if I've done my job right as the writer, I'll have brought you a story that's interesting, that educates both people who know about fetish and BDSM and understand it, and people who don't. It's brought more understanding to the topic, and it's made a great story that entertains people. And it also introduces real human beings into the comic book world that becomes a roadmap to the New York City fetish underground. And I don't think a lot of people realize that about the project. Welcome to Powder. Powder is someone I'm so thrilled to call a friend. He's one of the best people I know in the fetish underground. He's part of the tribe, New York City Fetish Tribe. They put on the best events. They put on safety classes. They're a great group of people. Mike B is part of them. A whole bunch of other people bring together this too, but bring this group to life in New York City. But Mike B and Powder are the main two dudes. And I can't wait to see him. And of course, Powder is married to the wonderful Glitter Bunny, who's also a good friend. And I miss it. I miss being around them, because it's, what you don't know is when you go to a fetish club, it's not just about people with fetishes. You still hear about politics. You still talk about movies. But you're talking to people that you don't have to hide who you are. You get to talk to people where you can just be you for once. You don't have to worry about letting it slip that you might have said something, or feeling like you have to have your guard up. And I want to explain, and people understand that there are people who can't. They're teachers, lawyers. I've met people I wouldn't even tell you who they are. I've met a movie star be in the dungeons, and I'm not going to say who, but that just tells you these people show up. But if it gets out and people start talking, this can affect their lives. They could lose their jobs. I've heard of a lot of people getting fired because they do something, wear an outfit like this and have a picture taken of them, and it's an ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend who posts it, and they lose their job. What the fuck is that? Who cares? How is that going to hurt anyone? What, because Barbara would grow up and be a teacher, she can't be a teacher now because she's into BDSM? How the fuck does that make sense in 2018? We're in fucking 2018. I started this project years ago, and here we are in 2018 still judging women. We still treat women like props. Women can't be sexual now because of this or that. There's so many fucking rules put on women. It's just unfair. Women should do what they feel is natural. If they want to be kinky and they want to wear outfits that look amazing and have a sexual tone to them, who gives a fuck? It's their choice if women want to be that way. I know a lot of women who are very comfortable looking amazingly hot, and they like to hear that they're hot, and that's okay. And that's kind of it. You should be able to do what you want, and that's my point with this project. You can be who you want to be as long as you're respectful, and I always say, make sure to always play safe. It's always got to be about safety. It's got to be the mental safety of the person you're playing with. It's got to be about the safety of their body, because mentors and masters and mistresses and doms have the one advantage that they don't wear their mistakes and they don't live with their mistakes, and that's horrible. And I've always hated that. So there's a lot that goes into this, as you guys can see. It's not just a simple story about getting off. And a lot of comics that come out, a lot of books about BDSM, it's over sexualized, and it's playing into that market. And look, fantasy's fine, and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. And I'm always going to say that they're doing fine. Fantasy is a good thing. That's not what our book is. That's all I want to say about that. We're different. We're different in the regard that we're trying to build something that's more powerful. And you guys can see I don't use a lot of art. I've used a lot more art in the last couple days than I've used at any point in the campaign. That's because it's the last couple days. So we are putting out some final touches. We've been promoted, so I'm not doing it to get promoted. We've hit our goal. So I'm not doing it to sell comics. I'm doing it to raise interest. And I want you guys to understand this, and this is truthful. When I run a Kickstarter, one of my major goals is for people to be able to read the book. I do this because I want to share a story. I want to share a story about a character, and I want people to fall in love with the character. And that's even why we did the 7 reasons to back this Kickstarter. So I hope you guys understand exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm just going to try to refocus the camera for you guys because I see it's a little bright on the Kickstarter side. Let's see if that helps a little. Let me turn off the light in the room. Give me 1 second because I can see on the Kickstarter one, the camera's not focusing right. So I'm going to turn that off and hope that helps the color context on this. We'll see in a minute. But yeah, I mean, that's what this point is. It's supposed to be about something powerful. And I really, really do hope that it's perceived and viewed that way. All right, so this is actually the wrong camera. I was adjusting Kickstarter, and it's not Kickstarter having the problem. It's actually my iPhone for some reason. Let me see if I can't get it to focus better. For some reason, it's just having trouble right now. Because I try to watch the video while I do this to make sure I see any issues. Let's back out of this. I think it's the black and see if that helps. But okay, so why do I do it on Valentine's Day and end on St. Patrick's Day? Well, there is actually a good reason for this, and for some reason it's not focusing perfect, so I'm going to change that. There we go. So we started on Valentine's Day. It's not a hidden secret why we would really start on Valentine's Day, because it's a day of passion. It's a day of, you know, experiencing things with people that you consider partners. Could have other titles, but that's what Valentine's Day is for. It's about sharing yourselves with someone else, and BDSM is something that does get used a little bit more on Valentine's Day, believe it or not, because it's couples trying to spice things up and things like that. So it's definitely a gateway. Valentine's Day is the gateway to kinkiness. It really is. So that's why we started on V-Day. Also, we had successfully funded our first book on V-Day. Like, we had launched off Kickstarter. It became official. Fetish Babies was going to be made. It was already made. It wasn't like it wasn't going to be made, but this made it official because we now had backing and we knew that there was a support. And we ran with it all throughout 2017. And here we are in 2018 talking about a 3rd issue already. So thank you to everyone who's gotten us here. So that's why we launched on Valentine's Day. So why on St. Patrick's Day? Why would we do this on St. Patrick's Day? Well, St. Patrick's Day, for those who don't know, when you grow up as a kid, you're first told St. Patrick's Day is great. It's about being Irish. So if you're Irish, you're like, oh my God, it's my day. You're so proud of yourself. You grow up, and if you're like me, you find out a dark truth. You find out that St. Patrick's Day was really about chasing out the pagans from Ireland. And it was about not accepting people. It was about castrating people. And it was about chasing people you didn't agree with away. And literally sometimes doing awful things to them to get rid of them. So then you're suddenly left with, wow, why would I want to be a part of St. Patrick's Day? That sounds horrible. But then you get just a little bit older. You start to realize something. Maybe St. Patrick's Day started out about their celebration, about purity and what they thought, whatever religious beliefs they were preaching back then. 'Cause those same religious beliefs now are not the same. They have completely changed, I assure you. They were based on a different time period, and religions seem to flux with time. Just saying, it's truth. I'm not hating, not trying to throw shade, not trying to get in even a debate about it. It's just the truth. Over time, the fundamental idea of religion changes. But what didn't change was St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day became something about going out, getting drunk, and celebrating being Irish. But it became even something more. It became about celebrating. So I looked at St. Patrick's Day as the rebellious day. Like you think you got rid of the pagans, you think you got rid of people's individuality, but then came St. Patrick's Day, everyone showed that individuality, and show that they were Irish. And if they weren't Irish, they showed that they supported the idea of just cutting loose and having fun. So St. Patrick's Day sounded like the perfect day to end Fetish Babies mentor search, because it was a day that was, you know, you could get lucky, and there's the joke right there for it. And I didn't use it. I meant to. I had other things going on this week. I was going to say get lucky on St. Patrick's Day and get a copy of Fetish Babies, but and I made the joke about Last Licks, which of course sounds dirtier than it is. If you're a baseball fan, you understand Last Licks. People who aren't baseball fans might not get the humor in it, and I'm sure I'll get some hate mails about it. But it's also a little flirty with the art. So, you know, it's about that. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this book. I've read it because I wrote it, but I've adapted this from a novel form, and it's gotten better. I'd actually have to go back and rewrite the novel, but that was the point of these days being so important, because we got to expand the story, and St. Patrick's Day is the perfect day to celebrate us coming off of Kickstarter, because we are different. And I think that's what St. Patrick's Day became a little bit about. The Irish were different for a while in America. And for those who don't know why St. Patrick's Day became so big, it was because the Irish had felt ostracized, and it gave them a day to celebrate themselves. If you believe the History Channel take on it, that's why St. Patrick's Day became big in the United States, because of the Irish who'd been building to build New York City and Manhattan. That's why the Irish Day Parade, same thing in Boston. Irish were used to build skyscrapers. So it became a fight for being individual. It became a fight for being your own self and being true to yourself. What better day to start than Valentine's Day? And what better day to end than St. Patrick's Day? For a story about being yourself, about finding yourself, and having the courage to ask other people to support who you are and help you on your journey through life. That's it. That's the reason. I don't want to hold you guys up. It's Saturday. I could talk about this topic all day, but thank you. Thank you to everyone who's backed us. Thank you for everyone who is backing us right now. Thank you to everyone who has bought the book while we were in conventions, said nice things online. Thank you to everyone. I mean, God, especially my team. I gotta end this by talking about the team. Satane Zilia brought Fetish Babies to life in an amazing way. Alyssa Andersin has made sure to keep the book grounded with the nice feminine tone, has done great being the head of the art project. Credit to her for all she's done. Thank you to Damian Alvarez for, of course, mentor search. And thank you to Matra, who kind of brought us to this point where we went from Satane's art to Matra's art in Aftermath to now this art, and was able to help us tell a story, not just through words, but through art as well. Very powerful. I've been so lucky. The editor who's been on this is an amazing person. Chuck, who's been the proofreader for the book, has done an amazing job. Victor Dandridge gave us a forward. Chris Med, of course. He wasn't back for this book, but he will hopefully be back for the anthology. We didn't bring him back for this book, just mainly because I didn't want a lot of bells and whistles with this one particularly. It was never planned out to be its own issue. So and you guys can see that it was a lower goal, because eventually we are going to go into an anthology format quicker than we expected. We lost a lot of copies because of Irma. We're still dealing with that. We're still trying to figure out what's best for the readers. And we want to give you the whole story, you know? Things kind of sped up and went faster than we expected them. We were able to do 2 issues now. In the time period it took us to do a single issue, and we are going to start on our 3rd and 4th book sometime this year. I mean, not third, our 4th book, which becomes the anthology once we finish with the 3rd. So, and of course, Carlos Villas, who did an amazing art for our 1st book. It's been, I mean, once this is an anthology, it's going to be amazing. This is a great way to, and I've told a lot of people, and I've been honest, if you want to get involved with Fetish Babies, go to fetishbabies.com right now and get the digital form. And I've really preached this time around. Unless you're collecting all the books, because these will all be limited release. We're going to go towards the anthology, and once we're in that anthology graphic novel, we will reprint that one. So far to date, we have no plans of reprinting any issues except Aftermath right now. And Aftermath was just about a print count thing. I had said that I don't expect to print more books than 300 for that particular book. We are almost through with our first 100 order, but I'd always planned to order about 250 to 300 from Kablam, who we ordered from. I only did it in less of a sequence because there's no discount. So they get printed and we pick them up as we need them. Became a better thing, but we went through quite a few already. So I'm actually gonna have to look about reprinting, I think, before I go to after I come home from C2E2. Probably, maybe sooner. I gotta count. I gotta look at stuff this week. But it's been an amazing ride because of all of you. You've all been with me. You've all come with me. You've all shared it, and I appreciate that. And I thank you for taking the time to watch the video today. I'm not gonna hold you guys up. Go out, enjoy St. Patrick's Day, be a rebel, enjoy your freedom to be yourself, because that's what I think St. Patrick's Day has really become about. Happy St. Patrick's Day.